count? Did that count?
They're counting it.
And they are counting it. That's how
what
you
a
win the first
momentum
half.
turn.
Crimson Tide crowd is coming alive in a big way, and you can see the 5 players in the court for the Tide are feeding off it.
Big showing from families, the student body, a great amount of staff here tonight.
Gonna be Crimson Tide ball, and this place is at a fever pitch.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Everett High School for tonight's Greater Boston League quarterfinals matchup between the Revere Patriots and the Everett Crimson Tide. This is the second game of our GBL playoff doubleheader, and now it's the boys' turn to take the court. These two teams met early on in the season, and it was the Crimson Tide emerging 73-34, and they were led by John Menexent, who scored 24 points, and it was by way of 5 threes. Ralph Aneo also added 12 points in that game. We're underway right now. The Crimson Tide will start with the basketball first. The starting 5 for the Crimson Tide: Stephen Corderos, number 3. Number 11, John Menexent. Number 21, Edwin Francois. Number 4, Kevin Arish. And number 13, Juvens Lewis. And that's Lewis trying a three-pointer. No good. Rebound goes to number 33. That is Dylan Day. Your starting 5 for the Patriots: number 0, Jafar Barry. Number 22, Captain Calvin Boudreau. Number 33, Captain Dylan Day. Number 14, Jack D'Ambrosio. Number 12, James Collado. Three-point is good. Cordero will handle the point guard chores for the Crimson Tide. He's a sophomore. He finds the senior, Juvens Lewis, who finds fellow senior, Edwin Francois. That somehow rims out, but Francois with his own rebound, and the putback's good. Nice job by the senior, big fella. Crimson Tide start 3 seniors in their starting 5. Number 4, Captain Kevin Arish, along with number 21, Edwin Francois, and number 13, Juvens Lewis. Three-point is good. Patriots hot from downtown. And they're on top 6-2. Nice ball movement by the Tide, but steal by number 22, Calvin Boudreau. Quickly finds it over to number 14, Jack D'Ambrosio. And it's a fight for the loose ball. Menexent has it. Oh, crossover, Euro step. And Menexent will earn himself a trip to the line, shooting 2. Menexent knocks them both down. Revere on top 6-4. 6:10 left, first quarter. Nice hands by Francois. Stays with D'Ambrosio. Francois pokes it away. This time finds the hands of Calvin Boudreau. Correction, that's Dylan Day. Another steal, Francois comes up with it. The big fella pushes it, finds Juvens Lewis. He's gonna get it back out to the top. Now it's moved around the perimeter to Cordero. He's going to drive baseline. Nice bounce pass to Francois right on the doorstep. And we're going to have a foul on number 33, Dylan Day. Edwin Francois will go to the line shooting 2. Francois goes 2 for 2 from the stripe. This game's tied at 6. Now the Tide can apply their pressure. This is where they're at their best. Made baskets create the best defense for the Tide. Revere passes out of it pretty nicely. This is D'Ambrosio. He's going to kick it to the corner. That's number 0, Jafar Barry. 3-point attempt, no good. And that's out of bounds. Going to stay with the Patriots. D'Ambrosio drives baseline. Good D by Francois to nullify the attempt at the rim. Calvin Bedreau is going to try a corner 3. That's no good. Barry comes down with the rebound, and we're going to have a reach-in foul. That's going to be on number 21, Edwin Francois. So the Patriots working the offensive glass hard, earning themselves a 3rd chance at a hoop here. Fresh shot clock to work with. 5:10 remaining on the game clock. Nice drive by Jafar Barry. Doesn't fall. Rebound to Juvens Lewis. Over to Stephen Cordero. That pass is stolen. Jack D'Ambrosio is going to take it in, glide in for the hoop. Easy 2 is good. Patriots back on top by 2. Nice court pass to Lewis. Corner 3, got it. Juvens Lewis sticks it from the corner. Nice dish by Menexik to find him opposite side of the court. Tied on top by 1. And a timeout's going to be taken by the Patriots. They'll talk it over with 4:37 left in this first quarter. Crimson Tide up by 1, 9-8. So the Patriots came flying out of the gates with 2 quick 3-pointers. And they've hit the glass pretty hard as well. The Tide have been paced by Edwin Francois. He's got 4 points. We're going to take a look at the replay. And there's the big guy, Francois, working baseline. You're going to see him get his own offensive rebound, working in traffic. Right up, baby hook is good. And then here's the play that just happened. Cross-court pass from Menexik, finding Lewis in the corner. Corner pocket, hot pocket. Juvens Lewis loves that view.
I'll see if I can.
So that's where we are after this timeout taken by the Patriots. It'll be their ball when they come out of it. Here comes that Tide pressure. Patriots, again, passing out of it nicely. Good D by Lewis. Pokes it away. Nice hands by the senior. That's right over into our director's station as we're set up just off the screen here, out of bounds. Boudreau to inbound.
Have fun.
Looks like we got some substitutions for the Crimson Tide checking into the game. Number 1, Ralph Aneo, along with number 31, Kevin Ruiz, replacing number 13, Juvens Lewis, and number 21, Edwin Francois. Great minutes from the 2 seniors. Nice steal by the other senior, Kevin Ruiz. He's going to take it to the hole. Nice defense right there by Calvin Boudreau to knock it away. So the Tide will have to get back defensively. Crimson Tide on top, 9-8. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. We're going to have a traveling violation. Crimson Tide basketball. Revere now dropping into a 2-3 zone. Nice pass by Ralph Aneo. Cordero touch pass over to Ruiz. Corner 3's good. Nice ball movement. Good hockey assist from Ralph Aneo. Nice assist from Cordero to find Ruiz from the corner pocket. 12-8 is the Crimson Tide advantage. Real good D by Cordero, all over it. And Ralph Aneo. Oh, nice job, Ralph. Ralph saw that, anticipated it. Jump ball is the call, so it's going to stay with the Patriots, but great D by Ralph Aneo. Shots no good by James Claudio. Kevin Ruiz just made one from there. No good. Cordero goes flying high above. And a foul is going to be called on the floor on Revere's number 14, Jack D'Ambrosio. That's the third team foul on Revere. Nice give and go from Ruiz back to Cordero. That doesn't fall. Cordero's going to track it down. Now Ruiz is going to try it. Other corner this time. That's no good. Kevin Arice keeps it alive. But they're going to get Arice on the foul. So it's going to be Patriots basketball. And now checking into the game is number 32, Mervin's Amazon. Here will place number 4, Kevin Arice. 12-8, tied on top. 3 minutes left, first quarter. Foul called on the floor before the shot. So we're going to have a side out. Nice pass looking for Jafar Barry. Nice pass to Jared Natola. That doesn't fall. Cordero comes up with the rebound. Beautiful feed from Cordero. Leading ahead of the pack was John Menexent, and Cordero really threw a nice outlet pass to find Menexent over the shoulder. And John will go to the line shooting 2. Menexent goes 1 for 2 at the line. Calvin Bedreau comes down with the rebound. He's pushing the action, drives to the hoop. That's no good. Rebound goes to James Claudio, and the putback is good. And we'll have a timeout called by the Crimson Tide. With 2:26 left in the first quarter, we have a good one brewing here in Everett. Tied on top by 3, 13-10. We're going to take a look at the replay here. Here's the cross-court pass, hockey pass over to Cordero, who then drops it to Kevin Ruiz, and he's going to knock it down from the corner. Really good ball movement right there. Aneo really got that started by moving that cross-court, and then Cordero quickly dropped it off into the corner. Ruiz knocked it down. Nice ball movement by the Tide. Crimson Tide basketball after the timeout. They're up by 3. 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Revere trapping Menexent. Nice pass by Aneo over to Amazon, over back to Aneo. And that's going to be a traveling violation. This is James Claudio. Over to Jafar Barry, sets the screen, rolls back. Natola working against Kevin Ruiz. Traveling is the call. It's going to be Crimson Tide basketball. Now into the game for the Crimson Tide is number 5, Narini Muhammad. And just checking into the game before that is number 22, James Menexen. So the Menexen connection is on the floor right now, along with Narini Muhammad, Mervin's Amazon, and Kevin Ruiz. That pass is intercepted. This is James Claudio. Oh, nice job by James Menexen getting back into the picture. And that's going to be last touched by Revere. Great hustle right there by number 5, Marco Cerboni, to try to keep it in play, but last touch by the Patriots. Really good transition defense by the Tide, getting back into the picture right there. Active hands created a ball that was redirected like 3 times, made it through the wickets, and it was last touch by the Patriots. So really nice job by the Tide getting back. It was James Menexen who made it happen. Now James drives. He's going to find his brother, John. Now entry pass to Kevin Ruiz, spin move. Oh, that was pretty, just didn't fall. Narini Muhammad keeps it alive for the Tide. John Menexen going to try it from downtown. That rims out. Marco Cerboni with the rebound, and he's going to get fouled. It's going to be Patriots basketball. And we're going to have a reach and foul. It's going to be on number 4, Kevin Arist. .112 left in this first quarter. Patriots basketball. And Revere is down by 3. So replacing Kevin Arist back into the game is number 21, Edwin Francois. Mervin's Amazon also checked out of the game. He's replaced by number 13, Juvens Lewis. Boudreau working on Lewis. Drop off. Nice block by John Menexen. James tries to keep it in play. Last touched by the Patriots. So Crimson Tide basketball. Great defense by John Menexen, rising above, turning away the shot of Randy Urdaneta. Less than a minute here in the first quarter. Tide basketball up 3. James Menexen thinks about the corner 3. Up fake. Hop step. And they're going to get him for traveling. Patriots basketball. 50.7 seconds left, first quarter. A legal screen is the call, so the Crimson Tide will get the ball back. Tide working it around the perimeter. John Menexen drives. He's going to throw it off the window. Nice hoop by John Menexen. That was well defended at the rim, but Menexen using his length, throwing it nicely off the window. Big time hoop by the junior. And Calvin Boudreau finishes the hard charging drive to the basket. We're going back and forth here. 15-12, Tide on top. 18 seconds left. Nice drop-off pass. Juvens Lewis to Edwin Francois. Beautiful feed by Lewis. Nice finish by Francois. That's poked out of bounds. And that's going to be Patriots basketball. 8.8 seconds left in this first quarter. And that's going to be a backcourt violation. James Claudio caught the pass, and his left foot was on the other side of the court. Crimson Tide basketball, 7.4 first quarter. Muhammad puts it on the floor. That's going to be stolen by James Claudio. And a good one starting here in Everett. After 1 quarter of play, it's the Crimson Tide on top, 17-12.
get a battery. I'm gonna run and get it. Jeff, I need to run back and get a battery.
All right, we're going to check out some of the highlights from that first quarter. There's the great block by John Menexen. It was a really nice drop-off pass, but John Menexen had a better answer as he rose above to turn that away. Now here's a look at the good ball movement from the Crimson Tide. And driving to the basket. That's John Menexen. That's a nice finish. That's big time. That's in traffic. That's off the window. That's how you get it done. Nice job by the junior. And now it's Narini Muhammad over to Juvens Lewis. And on the doorstep, Juvens just dropped it off to Edwin Francois. And Francois was the high scorer for the Crimson Tide in that first quarter. Let's see, Francois has 6 points. And John Menexen has 5. So those are the 2 leading scorers for the Crimson Tide as they are holding on to a 5-point lead after 1. Crimson Tide basketball to start the second quarter. Francois over to Menexen, over to Muhammad. Juvens Lewis driving baseline. Floater's good. Juvens Lewis. Nice drive on the baseline and the floater. It's not an easy shot to make, folks. You got to have a lot of touch to make that from that range. Really nicely done by the senior. And great defense by the senior. Oh, that was a nice drop-off. Calvin Boudreau, nice drop-off to Randy Urdaneta. Patriots, good offense right there. This game's going back and forth. Tied up by 5, 19-14. James Menexen thinks about baseline. Kicks it out to Narini Muhammad. Muhammad's trying to keep it. Dive for the loose ball. Hot potato, and Marco Cerboni's going to come up with it, and timeouts called by the Patriots. So hitting the floor was the senior, Cerboni, and he'll get the timeout for the Patriots. They'll talk it over with 7:01 left in the second quarter, tied up by 5. All right, here's a look. We're going to show you a replay when we get a moment while we're in this timeout. And let's take a look. So there it is. Juvens Lewis, check out the drive baseline, the righty floater. That's how you get it done, working in traffic. Nice take by Juvens. In the previous trip when he drove baseline, he gave a drop-off pass to Francois. So he's giving you a few options to work with. Defensively, that's a tough cover right there. So Juvens Lewis really putting the pressure on the interior defense of the Patriots. So after this timeout, Crimson Tide up by 5. It's going to be Patriots basketball. 7:01 left, second quarter. Menexen defending Boudreau. Elbow jumper, no good. Rebound kept alive. It's James Quado coming down with it. Quado drives to the basket. So there's a foul called right there. But I believe it was called on the floor. Yeah, so that was called on the floor. So the call on the floor right there after a nice drive. So it's going to be Patriots basketball, side out. Screen set at the top, over to Erdinada. He's defended by Francois. That pass is stolen by Aneo. Aneo pushing the action, finds David D'Souza, back over to Juvens Lewis. He's going to drive to the basket, off the window, good. Tied up by 7. And right there, it's Ralph Aneo forcing the turnover. So Crimson Tide basketball. We're going to have a side out right in front of the Revere bench. 6:20 left, second quarter. Good movement by the Tide. And we're going to have a foul called on number 22, Calvin Boudreau. D'Souza works it over to Aneo, back to D'Souza. John Menexon, corner pocket, no good. And we're going to have over the back call against number 13, Juvens Lewis. So this is a 1-and-1 coming up for Calvin Boudreau. The Crimson Tide are in the penalty. 21-14, Tide on top. And Boudreau will get a second free throw after making the first. Boudreau goes 2 for 2. Big free throws right there. Now the Patriots putting on some full court pressure. Applying the trap. Ralph Aneo over to D'Souza. Nicely done by the Tide to get out of it. Now they have some numbers of their own. Edwin Francois throws it off the window. He gets his own rebound. And Francois puts it back. That's the second time tonight Francois has put back his own miss. Just adding to the stat sheet. Tide up by 7. Lead pass over to Richie DiMarzio. Now Barry has it, leaves it for Dylan Day. Traveling violation. Crimson Tide ball. Again, Patriots settling in that 2-3 zone. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Nice look by Aneo to Francois. No good. John Menexon comes down with the offensive rebound. Juvens Lewis drives baseline. Floater's good. Juvens Lewis bringing the precipitation inside. Driving left baseline. Teardrop. Nothing but nylon. Good defense there by D'Souza. Stays with Claudio. Now it's Jafar Barry, corner 3. That's no good. Menexon has the rebound. Pace is picking up here frenetically. Francois is going to turn around. Elbow jumper, no good. Dylan Day with the rebound. Day leaves it ahead for Richie DiMarzio. DiMarzio spin move. Poked away. D'Souza has it. Out in front to Ralph Aneo. Drops it off to Menexon. And we're going to have an and-one opportunity. The Crimson Tide moving the ball very well in transition. An absolutely unselfish play. Great job by the Tide. Nice finish by Menexon. Menexent converts the three-point play. Nice rebound by Lewis. And he finds Ralph Aneo. Tide working with numbers. David D'Souza is going to try a corner three. That's good. And the young sophomore knocking it down from the corner. Timeout Patriots. And the Crimson Tide opening up this one, 31-16. Here's a look at the replay. Right there, Aneo with the steal. Out in front, D'Souza back over to Juvens Lewis. He loves that view. Then, back again, it's Francois. Comes up short, gets his own rebound. Putback's good. And here it is again. The Tide pressure coming up with it. And it's Juvens Lewis. That time it was from the left baseline. That ball probably grabbed a little bit of dust from it because that thing was up in the rafters before it fell down. Nothing but net. Nice finish right there. Juvens Lewis having a game. This is unofficial, but I have Juvens Lewis I have him for 11 first half points. And I might even have missed one. So I'll get the exact tally when I go over to the scorer's book at halftime. Doing the best I can, but sometimes when they go quick transition, I may miss a few. So we'll try to clean that up on my end, but nice job by the Crimson Tide opening up the advantage here. So 31-16, Tide on top, 3:58 in the second quarter. Claudio over to D'Ambrosio. Boudreau is going to find Jafar Barry in the corner. He drives. Nice job by D'Souza. And traveling violation is the call. So Crimson Tide ball. And it's going to go back to the Patriots. Good ball movement by the Patriots, but the Crimson Tide defense right where they need to be. Dylan Day working down low, pressure from all over, but Dylan Day is going to earn himself a trip to the line. Day goes 1 for 2 at the line. 31-17 Crimson Tide. Francois over to the corner. That's Ralph Aneo. No good. Out of bounds, Crimson Tide ball. Ralph Aneo drives baseline. It's going to go opposite baseline to David D'Souza, but a shuffle of the feet will be called. Traveling violation, Revere basketball. Good D by the Tide. Swinging around. Boudreau drives. Baseline jumper is no good. That was number 21, Volmir Don. Muhammad pushes it over to Lewis, back to Menexen, back to Muhammad. He drives. Narini's going to throw it off the glass, but Narini Muhammad's going to be called for the offhand push-off. So offensive foul against the Tide. It's going to go back to the Patriots. 2:29 remaining in the second quarter. 31-17 Crimson Tide. Muhammad checks out of the game. Ralph Aneo checks back into the game. Very good D. Ralph Aneo forcing the turnover. Staying hip to hip. D'Souza, they're going to call him for steps. Traveling violation, going back to the Patriots. Boudreau drives to the basket. That's no good. Dylan Day comes up with the offensive rebound. Now Cerboni looking to drive baseline. Foul called on number 1, Ralph Aneo, and that is now the double bonus. So Revere will go to the line shooting 2. Menexen comes up with the rebound, quickly pushes it over to Ralph Aneo, who's down the other end. Juvens Lewis is going to try it from downtown. That's no good. Claudio comes up with the rebound. And we're going to have an illegal screen set. Calvin Boudreau picking up the foul. So Crimson Tide ball, 1:41 remaining in this first half. On top, 31-17. Back to the top of the key. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 1:25 on the game. Menexen, double team, finds Ralph Aneo. Nice pass. Goes over to Kevin Ruiz. No good. Patriots moving the basketball. Boudreau keeps it alive, finds Cerboni. That was a pretty nice move by Marco Cerboni. Little pivot, turnaround, jumper's good. Out of bounds, Crimson Tide basketball, 52.2 seconds left in this first half. And it's 31-19 Crimson Tide. Oh, nice spin move, Kevin Ruiz. Good defense right there. Volmir Don and Cerboni turning it away, but stays with the Tide. Nice drop-off pass. Ralph Aneo, beautiful feed on the doorstep to James Menexen. The shot doesn't fall, but James Menexen will go to the line, shooting 2. James Menexon goes 1 of 2 at the line. 31 seconds left. Out of bounds. That Crimson Tide press, turning up the heat, coming up with the turnover. And now the Tide, they can take last shot if they choose. It's 29.5 seconds on the game clock. 30-second shot clock is turned off. Tide on top by 13. Gotta get it in. Just does. Kevin Ruiz catches it right around center court, back over to Aneo. Juvens Lewis is going to give a good look over to John Menexon. Corner three's no good. And that's going to be last touch by the Crimson Tide. So now the Patriots will have the basketball. 15.6 on the second quarter. Good D by Aneo, but a nice shot. James Claudio. That was a pretty tough shot right there. Claudio knocks it down, and that's a two-pointer. And that's how this first half will end. So it's the Crimson Tide on top, 32-21, which has been what has been a very entertaining first half. It was 17-12 tied at the end of the first quarter. They were able to up it a little bit there in the second, but some momentum coming back on the Patriots side as they finished with a little bit of a burst there at the end, cutting it to 11. So we'll take a break here at halftime. We want you to stick with us. We'll have an exciting second half back on tap. Second half is about to begin. It's going to be Revere Patriots basketball. Leading scorers there for the Crimson Tide. Leading the way is senior Juvens Lewis with 11 points. And then he's joined by fellow teammates John Menexon with 8 and Edwin Francois with 8. Those are the three leading scorers for the Crimson Tide. So 32-21 Tide on top. Patriots basketball. Boudreau shot, rims out. Francois comes up with the rebound. That's knocked away by Claudio. It's going to stay with the Tide. A nice look by Francois to Ariste. That's no good. Francois throws it back in. That's no good. Crimson Tide foul on number 3, Steven Cordero. Jafar Barry tries it just inside the elbow, no good. James Quado with the rebound finds Barry underneath. Offensive rebound, good dish by Quado, finds Jafar Barry. Revere has cut this back to singles, 32-23. Patriots trying to get it back. Nice job by Cordero to keep it alive for the Tide. Oh, beautiful ball movement. That was pretty. Juvens Lewis dish down low to Edwin Francois. Touch pass to Kevin Arist, who started on one side of the hoop, finished on the other. The shot doesn't fall, but Kevin Arist will go to the line shooting 2. Down to 15 on the shot clock. And they're going to call a bump on Juvens Lewis. Dylan Day working against Edwin Francois. That just rims out. Rebound, Stephen Cordero. Cordero's going to get it poked away by Quado, but he is unable to keep it inbound, so it will go back to the Crimson Tide. But James Quado really picking up the defensive pressure for the Patriots. Again, there's that look. Nice job by the Crimson Tide setting up that offense. And once again, coming to fruition. Nice drop-off pass from Francois to Arist. Arist, good finish underneath. That's 4 points for the senior. Tide on top by 13. Oh, nice job. John Menexon came up with the loose ball, went behind the back, and advanced it up the court. That was nice. Juvens Lewis, corner 3. Got it. Juvens right in my living room. Stuck that one. That was nice. And that's 14 points for the senior. He's having a big game. He's having a big season. I mean, Juvens has been doing this all year. Foul called right there. Number 4, Kevin Arist. And going to the line shooting 2 will be Calvin Boudreau. So a free throw lane violation on Everett will give Calvin Boudreau another attempt. Mervin's Amazon comes up with the rebound, and Crimson Tide have it. Good defense by David D'Souza, working against Jack D'Ambrosio. Really nice job by D'Souza. Now he's hounding Calvin Boudreau, making him work. They are going to call D'Souza for the foul. It was on the floor, side out. And Dylan Day knocks down the three-pointer. Patriots are within 12. 39-27 Crimson Tide. 4 minutes left, third quarter. John Menexent's going to answer with a three. Got it. Big-time shot by Menexent. Now Revere going length of the court. Finds Jafar Barry. Oh, nice steal by D'Souza. He's got Menexent up the court. He was looking for him, but James Carter was right there to nullify the view. Menexent corner three. John starting to heat up. That's 14 points for Menexent. Down to 10 in the shot clock. Claudio working against D'Souza. Kick out to D'Ambrosio. And a foul is called. David D'Souza will pick up the personal. Jack D'Ambrosio will go to the line, shooting two. D'Ambrosio knocks down the free throws. Nice screen set by Ruiz. Aneo drops it off to Edwin Francois. Francois continuing his strong game. That's 10 points for Edwin. So a foul called against the Tide. And Calvin Boudreau back to the line. Calvin Boudreau just doing a little housekeeping here, trying to clean some of the slick spots. No oil spills down in the paint. Nice job by Boudreau. Now we'll get 2 free throws. Boudreau knocks them both down. 47-30, Crimson Tide on top. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left, third quarter. Nice look from Menexen to Kevin Arist. That's no good. Boudreau with the rebound. That's Jafar Barry, throws it off the window. That's no good. We're going to have a foul on the rebound. Rebound, Juvens Lewis, but Clado pokes it away. It's going to stay with the Crimson Tide. Lewis inbounds to James Menexen. Nice kick out to James. Aneo bounce pass to James Menexen. Throws it off the window. That's no good, but Menexen will go to the line shooting 2. Nice job by Menexen knocking it down. No good on the second attempt, 1 for 2. Traveling violation is the call. Ralph Aneo, step back. No good, Quado with the rebound. Kevin Ruiz defending Dylan Day. He's going to get called for the foul. Dylan Day will go to the line shooting 2. Oh for 2, but D'Ambrosio comes down with the rebound. Jafar Barry's going to try it from 3. That's no good. We're going to have a foul on the floor against number 13, Juvens Lewis. That's no good. Kevin Ruiz comes up with the rebound. Tide working it around. Aneo drives. That's turned away. Dylan Day comes up with the block. He's pushing transition, leaves it out in front for Jafar Barry. That's no good. Menexen comes up with the rebound, but then Barry hits the floor. So that's going to be against Everett, and that's now the double penalty for the Crimson Tide. So the Patriots will be shooting 2 at the line for the rest of this game. Final 30 seconds here in the third quarter. Ralph Aneo, wing 3. No good. James Menexent hustles to keep it in play. He does. Nice job by James. We're going to get a foul. And we're going to have a timeout by head coach Stanley Chamberlain and the Crimson Tide with 18.5 seconds left in this third quarter. Crimson Tide on top 48-32. Here's a look at some replays here. David D'Souza kick out pass to John Menexent. 3-pointer's good. Then there's a good look at Juvens Lewis bounce pass, another bounce pass, swing it around, good ball movement. That's John Menexent again. And now we have Ralph Aneo getting the screen by Kevin Ruiz. Nice dish over to Edwin Francois. Great ball movement by the Crimson Tide. Coach Chamberlain has to be pleased with that as they're executing the offense very well right now. So Crimson Tide timeout. Third quarter is almost through, 18 seconds left. And the Crimson Tide are on top by 16. Menexent, elbow jumper, no good. Rebound, it's going the other way. Foul against the Crimson Tide. Juvens Lewis will pick up the personal. And that is on the rebound, which is a defensive foul. So Calvin Bedreau will go to the line shooting 2 with 4.5 seconds left in the third quarter. Bedreau knocks them both down. Final 2 seconds. Juvens Lewis from downtown, no good. And after 3 quarters of play from the big house on the big hill, it's the Crimson Tide on top by 14, 48-34. All right, fourth quarter is underway. We hope you're hearing me on our broadcast. We're going live from Everett High School here. 48-34, Crimson Tide on top. So this is Narini Muhammad. Over to Edwin Francois. He drives, working on Boudreau. Nice defense by Boudreau, but a foul is called on the body. So it's going to be Edwin Francois going to the line where he has been there a few times today. So Francois at the line, shooting 2. Gets the shooter's bounce, members bounce only on the first one. Francois knocked back rims the second. Menexit coming off the top of the key. This is Kevin Reese from downtown. That's no good. Rebound controlled by Jack D'Ambrosio. D'Ambrosio crossing over at half court. No, correction, that's Calvin Boudreau. That rims out. Foul called. And again, we're shooting, whether it's on the floor or in the act from here on out because of the double bonus. So it's going to be Calvin Boudreau at the line shooting 2. And we apologize if we maybe lost sound for a little bit. We're back on now. We had some background sound. And I do speak pretty loud, but I may have been heard faintly for a little bit there. But again, live stream's been great. We appreciate the fans at home checking in, taking in all the action live. And my crew doing a great job bringing you the action. Much kudos to those guys. So here we go. Boudreau at the line for a second attempt. And that's good. This is a 12-point game. I mean, there's still a lot of things can happen here. 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Tied up by 12, 49-37. Patriots aren't backing away. They're fighting here. So the Tide are going to have to keep their foot in the gas pedal. Drop-off pass. Edwin Francois can't get it to go. Third opportunity. This is Kevin Ruiz, and that's a big-time shot from the young sophomore in the middle of the paint. Kevin Ruiz drops it. Tied back on top by 14. Now it's D'Ambrosio working against Francois. D'Ambrosio goes behind the back. Oh, what a finish. Jack D'Ambrosio behind the back, up and under. That was a pretty hoop. The deficit for the Patriots back to 12. Narini Muhammad kicks it out to Edwin Francois. That's off the knee of Dylan Day, right into the camera well of our baseline camera. Comes right back. Check that basketball. Make sure the ear's good. So Juvens Lewis to inbound. 6:12 remaining in the fourth quarter. So there was a discrepancy in the shot clock. It was reset, but now 20 seconds on the shot clock. 6:09 left in this fourth quarter. Tied on top, 51-39. Kevin Ruiz just inside the 3. That's no good. Boudreau with the rebound. He's going to push the action. He goes behind the back. Knifes his way into the lane. That's no good. But he comes up with his own rebound. And that's good. Big hoop by Boudreau. The deficit's now 10 for the Patriots. Crimson Tide with the ball. This is John Menexit, receives the handoff from Narini Muhammad. And that foul was called on the floor, but that's going to be the 1-and-1 situation now for the Crimson Tide. So Menexit will be at the line, shooting 1-and-1. Rebound goes to Dylan Day. Fires it out to Marco Cirboni. Now it's Calvin Boudreau. 5.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 51-41 Crimson Tide. Down to 15 on the shot clock. D'Ambrosio fires from downtown. That's no good, but he gets his own rebound put back. That's no good. Gets a second offensive rebound, still with it. Now looking for help. He's going to find Dylan Day. He drives to the hole. That's good. Patriots have cut this to singles. 51-43. Crimson Tide basketball. Under 5 to play in the fourth. Juvens Lewis catches it at the top of the key. He's defended by Cerboni. He's going to take a screen by Ruiz. That's no good. Cerboni with the rebound. Patriots looking to cut into this even further. Day finds Jafar Barry down low. And that was a pretty nice find from the top of the key. Patriots are on a run right now. 51-45, tied up by 6. John Manexon's going to try it from downtown. That's no good. Boudreau with the rebound. Boudreau's pushing the action. Narini Muhammad chasing from the hip.
No shot.
And that foul is going to be called on the floor. But once again, it's going to net 2 free throws either way. So Marco Cerboni will head to the line shooting 2. 4:15 remain in this fourth quarter. Tied up by 6, but the Patriots controlling this fourth quarter, and they have really cut into that tied lead. Looks like we're going to have some substitutions checking into the game for the Crimson Tide after this first free throw. Actually, they're going to bring them in now. So James Manexon checks into the game along with David D'Souza. And they'll replace Juvens Lewis and Kevin Ruiz. Front rim on the first attempt by Boudreau. Patriots down 6. One for 2 goes Boudreau. Patriots down 5, Crimson Tide basketball. David D'Souza is going to try a corner 3. That's no good. And Boudreau's on the move. Oh, big defense by John Manexon. That could be the play of the game right now. That was a big-time hoop, a big-time block, rather. But Jack D'Ambrosio comes up with the rebound. And you got to be careful on those reach-ins right now. I know you're trying to make a play and come up with a defensive play, but you got to keep in mind you're in the double bonus. And right now, Revere, they're going to keep making their case if they can score with the clock stopped. So going to the line right now, it's Jack D'Ambrosio for 2. D'Ambrosio goes 1 for 2. Francois comes up with the rebound. Ralph Aneo will settle it down for the Crimson Tide offense. James Manexon's going to set a pick, double screen at the top. Rolling off is Francois. Settling in the corner is James Manexon. Just somehow keeps it in play. James Manexon's going to try a corner 3. Got it! James Manexon, big time corner 3. That was huge. Ooh. Well, that was a tough spill right there. Jafar Barry appears to be all right. He took a pretty hard fall, but he sprung right back up. But that sounded like it was a loud thud. So a timeout called. 3:15 left in the fourth quarter. James Manexon with a big-time three-pointer for the Crimson Tide. They needed that desperately. Patriots have risen off the canvas, and they actually had the Crimson Tide against the ropes. They still do. I mean, there's 3:15 left here, but the Tide, that three-pointer puts them back up 7. So a timeout called. And Jafar Barry looked like he landed right on his tailbone. So we're going to take it to replay. And here is, so far, this could be the hoop. Okay, there's a nice bounce pass to Francois. Again, Ralph Aneo and Edwin Francois have had the connection all night. And then check out this. Good ball movement, double screen. Juvens Lewis working down low. Finds Francois, works hard for the rebound, kicks it back around. And then it's Kevin Ruiz, free throw line jumper. And check out the action here. This is the play. John Menexent makes the block. He's going to get it started down the other way. And right now, if this score holds, this is your shot of the game. And by the way, holds is a big if because there's a lot of time left. But check out the ball movement here. James Menexent went to the very last inch of his sneaker to save that basketball from going out of bounds. Gave it to his brother who fed him back in the corner. And there's your big-time hoop. So there we have it. 3:15 remains here in the fourth quarter. It's the Crimson Tide on top 54-47. It's going to be Patriots basketball after the timeout. What a good game we've had here. I mean, this has been great. Back and forth action. Very tight first quarter. Tide opened up to 11 at halftime. Third quarter remained a little bit similar, but then the Patriots made that push at the end. And then fourth quarter has been the Patriots' parade as they've come back into this one. So a great game here in the Greater Boston League quarterfinals. Menexent with a big free throw, knocks down the first. Two for two goes Menexent, tied back on top by 9. Nice hoop, Edwin Francois. The senior's having a huge game. Nice pass by Dylan Day. Fires a fastball down the court to Jafar Barry. That's poked around. Ralph Fineo looks like he's going to come up with the steal. He does. Quickly finds John Menexent. John Menexent's going to go in traffic. We're going to have a jump ball call, and the arrow is pointing to the Patriots. So it's going to be Patriots basketball. Good take by Menexent, but he went up in between two Patriots. They were able to get a hold of the basketball. So jump ball is the call. Tied up by 11. We're under 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Kick out pass, Boudreau, corner three, got it. Calvin Boudreau with the big three right there. And again, don't go anywhere. There's 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. Patriots have now cut this back to an 8-point deficit on that three-point attempt from Calvin Boudreau. So Coach Chamberlain and the Crimson Tide are going to go over some strategy on the sideline. We're going to take a look at some highlights. So here's a replay of some good ball movement by the Tide. Bounce pass down low, and Edwin Francois has really had a big-time performance for the Crimson Tide tonight. The senior big fella, who's always hitting the glass and getting a lot of the dirty points, but tonight has been like a key focal point of the offense. I mean, every time he's received the entry pass, he's made the right play, and if he hasn't made his initial shot, he's followed up on it a number of times and put the ball back in. Safe to say, Francois is working with the double-double. He's got, I have him for 12 points. And about 11 rebounds. I may not be official, but I get a few right every now and then. But listen, it's not, you know, I got a sheet in front of me. I'm just using my pen, and I'm just trying to mark them down as best I can. But again, when I get into the action and you get a couple quick hoops back and forth, it's easy to miss a few. All right, so we're back after the timeout. 2 minutes and 11 seconds remain. We're coming off a Calvin Boudreau made three-pointer. So it's going to be Crimson Tide basketball. The Patriots will be in a full court pressure situation. Nice job by the Tide to quickly pass out of it. Now D'Souza. I think we have an official's timeout. Sorry for the confusion. There was a whistle there. Crimson Tide basketball. Aneo over in the wing. He's going to face a double team. And the Patriots foul intentionally there. So a 1-on-1 situation coming up for the junior, number 1, Ralph Aneo. Boudreau with the rebound. Oh, that's a nice pass. Beautiful pass from Boudreau to Barry. Tied up by 6. 1:40 remains in this fourth quarter. And that pass sails out of bounds. Menexent was looking for Ralph Aneo in the corner. Pass sails out of bounds, so it's going to be Patriots basketball with 1:36 remaining in the fourth quarter, and they're down 6. James Quado, drive to the hoop is no good. That's a big rebound by James Menexent. Big time board by Menexent. So James will get fouled and he'll be headed to the foul line. And now it's double bonus time. So the Patriots have been in the double bonus since the end of the third quarter. Now the Crimson Tide will be there. All fouls from here on out, of course, unless if they're offensive, will result in 2 free throws. So a couple big free throws coming up for the junior, James Menexent. Just rims out the first. Oh for 2, Boudreau pushes it. Oh, nice D by John Menexent. Serboni stays with it. Dylan Day thinks about it. He's going to try it from downtown. That's no good. And Ralph Aneo with the big rebound. And a foul is called, and Ralph Aneo will go to the line shooting 2. Aneo sinks the first. Big free throws by Aneo. He knocks them both down, tied on top by 8. Boudreau's layup doesn't go. Nice defense by Francois. He comes up with the rebound. And now it's John Menexent who's going to get fouled by Dylan Day. And Menexent will now go to the line shooting 2. 48.2 seconds left. 60-52, tied on top. John makes them both, or 1 for 2 rather, I'm sorry, 1 for 2, tied up by 9. Marco Serboni's 3-pointer is no good. Barry with the rebound. Then there's a fight for it out of bounds, so it's going to stay with Revere. 39.5 seconds left. 61-52, tied on top. Cerboni over to Boudreau. D'Ambrosio is going to fire from downtown. That's no good. Francois has the rebound. He'll get fouled. So it's going to be the senior, Edwin Francois, heading to the line for two. Francois goes 1 for 2. The Tide are back up by 10. 62-52, 30 seconds left. Shot clock and game clock are about a half second off, so Revere can basically take it if they choose. Three-point attempt goes up. Francois with the rebound. And that looks like that's going to do it. In the final seconds, they're going to tick off in this one, but not before what was a very entertaining game. The Revere Patriots really made this one interesting in the fourth quarter, but credit the Crimson Tide. Their effort proved valiant as they were able to stay with it and come up with the big W. They'll advance to the Greater Boston League semifinals. That's going to do it here from Everett High School with the final score, Everett 62, Revere 52. We want to thank you for joining us for basketball night here on EHS TV 15. We'd like to give a special thanks to our central administration, Superintendent of Schools Priya Tahiliani, our Deputy Superintendent Kim Sai, Assistant Superintendents Charles Obremski and Kevin Shaw, Chief Financial Officer Anu Madapa Giant, Budget and Grants Director Shirley Pang, Executive Associate of Project Implementation Adeline Celeste, Director of Special Education William Donahue, High School Principal Eric Nauman, Assistant Principal Corey McCarthy, Athletic Director Tammy Turner, Communications Coordinator Dave O'Connor, and all the faculty and staff here at Everett High School. I'd also like to recognize our television studio, our engineer and camera Dan Natio, our live stream and technical director Jeff Natio, our replay technician, Jonathan Bird Marchant, and our cameramen this evening, Alex O'Donnell and Joe Camlin. I'm Josh Delgazo from all of us here at EHS TV 15. Have a great night.